Good afternoon to everyone. It's time for Viewpoint. It's your daily talk show right here on 102.7, 1300 AM. And of course, we are also streaming live on TV Carib. So we are all over the world, wherever it reaches. Not forgetting Facebook, of course. So just so you know, and if you're concerned about wanting to use any other device in order to be able to reach us if you don't have access to radio at this present moment, you may have your handheld device, which is your smartphone, and you may also have data. And if you do, you can simply go to the Google browser and simply type in TV Carib, or you can type in SeymourJournal.com. Either way. Seymour is CMOOREJOURNAL.com. And when the page opens on Seymour Journal, you would see a banner right at the top. Actually, the way it's done now, you just full the screen in front of you. You just press it and you'll be able to see the faces behind the conversation that we are having live here on PJD2, 1300 AM and 102.7 FM. With that said, I'm happy to have a usual voice on this program whenever he's available. The author, and also he's a co-author, he's an entrepreneur, Mr. Gramey Browne, and also he's a motivator, if you will. He encourages people to make best use of your lives by getting involved in business, if you will, or do something that is productive. He has written a book called Learning the Business of Life. We'll talk a lot about that today. And also he have assisted me, actually co-authored the book with me as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So with that said, Gramey, it's good to have you in, and it's always nice to have this conversation. You're also sharp using, you're on Twitter quite some.
No, TikTok now. I'm on
TikTok
a lot. I don't have
Not
a Twitter.
Twitter.
TikTok, yeah.
And why am I still saying Twitter when that has been changed to X? Anyway, yeah.
I'm not on X.
You are a fanatic on TikTok,
Yeah,
but you also share your speeches on
I do
Facebook.
Facebook. I have a Facebook blog, Gramey.
Okay.
And then
You have your own
if you
website.
got my WhatsApp feed, I got my own website, Gramey Browne with the E, BROWNE.com. And I'm now on TikTok.
Yeah.
I did that.
Why did you decide to use TikTok though?
It's kind of like the most popular right now for just streaming. So I'm just new in it. I got like 300 and something followers.
Okay.
And so I'm still new, figuring it out what exact style I want to use on it in order to host and speak and stuff.
I mean, I'm impressed with some of the, well, they're not speeches, but short.
Yeah.
What you call them?
They're basically posts.
But these posts often encouraging or challenging. That's the word.
Yeah, very challenging. There's some of them are very thought provoking.
Correct.
And it makes you think inside. It makes you look within. And then you either, when you come back out after you went in, you're either coming out trying to do better, trying to do more,
or challenge yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you really like, he is full of it. Whichever one you want to choose.
Either way. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say good afternoon to your radio listeners. Can we just
sure.
fit right into the conversation?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me back. It's the first time for the year, so it's happy to be here. Good afternoon to everyone.
Yeah, usually when you come in, you always come in with another book.
Yeah.
But you lend your authorship with yours truly, and
yes, so we do have another book.
Yeah, and I want people to know about this book. I want every home to have one.
Yes.
You know why? Because of the importance of it. So I am working day in, day out whenever I get the chance to help people to understand the importance of it and the importance of having it. And I'm happy that we decided to put the coat of arms on the cover, because this is one of the symbols of our country that I don't think gets enough attention. And it means something to everybody, whether we agree with what's on it or what is the final image or the crest, because that's what the coat of arms is, folks. For those of you who might have trouble understanding what the coat of arms really is.
Yeah. This is what was decided, and so that decision is made. Until it's changed, this is what it is.
Exactly. And these are symbols just like the flag, just like your anthem, and all of that is in Article 1 of our Constitution. And I'm so happy it's there because it's a teaching material.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, only when I started working on this project with you, that I actually first started looking at the Constitution. I never looked at it before. Seriously. Like, I was like, oh, we have a Constitution.
Yes.
But I never really looked at it,
That's right.
So I'm happy you actually consider collaborating with me on this, and that I was able to look at it for the first time. So.
But you can see the value, though.
Yes, of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're not talking about this. We're talking a little bit about the business of life. And it's always good to have you back, though, because you shuttle your way around and you're doing some travels around the world as well.
Yes.
Where was your most recent
we did
visit?
Honduras. There's an island called Ratan in Honduras. It speaks very fluent English. It's a dual lingual state.
Okay.
It used to be controlled by the British, and then it was taken over by Honduras. And so we did the tours. And
so English, because when I think of Honduras, I think of a Spanish-speaking country.
Exactly. And we always thought that there's only two English-speaking nations in Central America. Which was Belize and Guyana. But there's also Ratan. And that is actually an island. It's surrounded by water. So that was something new for me. I never even heard of the island before we went there.
Okay.
And I was like, interested. And the English is kind of like a cross between Panamanian, Jamaican, that kind of a raw, slangish, So it was really interesting.
Okay.
Really interesting.
And Japan,
Yeah, we're going to Japan later this year. In the summer, we're going to go to Japan. So that's going to be a very learning experience.
I was just about to ask you, what does these visits bring out of you?
The cultural learning is so, and I think everyone, if given the opportunity, please travel. Not just, it is a vacation, but it's also a learning experience, right? And experience are the best teacher.
Yeah. Best teacher, I would add to that visiting other countries and other communities and villages and cultures is a learning lesson that you cannot get in a classroom. And
you get these different point of views, right? And something I have in my book that I learned as a teenager, understanding another person's point of view is vital to learning.
Yeah.
And this is what you learn as you see other cultures, talk to other people, understand their point of view from their country, rather than just we listen to the news and all that kind of stuff. When you're there and you're talking to the people, the person in front of you, you really get a different feel and a different variation of information. Yeah. And then you come to your own conclusion and not listening to someone else's conclusion.
Yeah. Out of all the books that you have written, there was one that I really had loved. And I say had because for some reason the impact actually was so strong on me. But now that I'm spending more time with learning the business of life, I realize how important this one is, why people should have this.
This is a building block. It unlocks the entrepreneurial mindset in your child, right? And I said on TikTok, I had a discussion with someone, and they were talking about, when you're doing business, you do this, and you have to start small, and you have to save your money. And I was like, parents can actually, and they don't teach it to you in school. So I said, parents have to teach their kids all of these fundamentals as children. And they're like, but some parents don't have the time and they can't do this. And I'm like, It starts with simple chores.
Yeah.
Chores
Around the home.
Yeah, it's a business.
Yeah.
Because as you grow up, what's going to happen? A job is a series of chores that you're being paid for.
Yeah.
Right? You get a chore, you have to do it. Someone inspects that it was done correctly, and then if it was done correctly, they reward you.
Yes.
And then they give you a new task, and you keep going and going and going.
That's work.
This is what parents supposed to do with their kids.
Yeah.
Chores are very important, and every $10 you get or $20, whatever you get for your chore, they should make sure you have a savings account, like a bank account for a child. You know, you go to the bank, you and your child's name is on it. It's very important that your child understand that if you want to save a penny, you have to save it. And yes, you could save it in your piggy bank or whatever. At some point, the piggy bank gets full, you take it to the bank. Why? Because in your adult life, the process is going to be you're going to get paid in a bank account. And then from that bank account is when you're going to spend everything that you're going to spend. But if you don't practice to have and keep money in the bank account, as a child, you most probably never will as an adult. You know? Because practice make perfect. And if you don't learn to do something, you most likely won't know how to do it.
Yeah. Now, making reference to chores as a simple procedure that can teach the principle of business, don't necessarily mean that always you're going to reward. Well, some people can afford to give their children a little stipend, whether it's at the end of the month or the week or whatever.
So look at it this way:
you don't have it now.
You have to spend money on your child one way or the other.
Yes.
All right. So some of the money you're going to spend. Let's say the child wants a new shirt or new pants. You have to buy it anyway. You use that as an incentive to say, okay, I want your room clean. Every Saturday, I want to inspect your room. It's clean. All the clothes are packed away. Your bed is made. Make your bed every morning before you go to school. And if you do that, I'll give you $10. With that $10, that child now have to save it every week and then go buy that pants or then go buy that shoes. Because it's either the child buying it with the money you gave the child or you're buying it with your money. If you give the child the money and make them save it, well, they have the option to save it until they get enough to buy that pants, that shirt, that shoes. You will see how their choice vary, right? Maybe they want a Tommy Hilfiger shirt or Tommy Hilfiger pants. But as they get all the funds, they may say, you know what? This shirt is a little too expensive. I could go by ABC shop and get 2 shirts and a pair of jeans out of it. So now their mind is making decision based on the money they have in front of them, in their hand, that is theirs.
Yeah.
Now it's their money. It's not your money.
And I guess the inspiration to stretch that or do more so that you can add more comes as a result of that start.
Exactly. And
But
that's the financial literacy that their mind starts working out.
But you realize that it contradicts public opinion for business startup.
I mean,
As you mentioned earlier, that someone will tell you got to save this or you got to do this in order to start a business.
Yeah.
But the principle you're saying can be learned in family relations.
in family relation day to day. So with our daughter, my daughter chose was she had to do her own laundry. It's just basically using a washing machine. It's not like in my days where you had to get the board out and the bath pan and you know
And scrub.
you know.
Board, yeah.
She had to keep her room clean, and she had to prepare her school box for the next day from the evening before. So we were not waking up to do it for her. She had to do it herself. And at the end of the week, after inspection, that all the clothes was washed, they were packed away. Not just you have them in a basket to fold, or you have them that they need to be hung. Everything had to be done, room tidy, and she got $30. That was her money to do with whatever she wanted to.
Yes, yes.
You know, but when we go to a place, we were not going to buy things for her. So we just took the funds that we were going to spend on her anyway and gave it to her to spend on herself. And one time we were on vacation, I think it was Hawaii, and she picked up some keychains for her school friends, and they came up to about $60, and she looks at me, she looks at her mom, she looks at the cashier, and I said, they're your friends, they're not mine, because $60 is a lot. I think she was like, I don't know, 10 years old. And, and then the cashier said, come on, sweetie, you got to make a decision. And she ended up just buying 5. Cost her like $20. Now if me or her mom were paying for them, it would have cost her $60 because she was paying for them, only cost her 20. Because now you're going to prioritize what you do with your money. Do you want to spend it all on your friends or?
Yeah. How much of that spill over to our adult life now? Because responsibility with money these days is quite a challenge.
Yeah, because most people live to the max of their income, and therefore most people are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
And some are actually broke. And then there is those that are in debt. And it's not that they don't make enough, because the person making $1,000, let's say in St.Maarten, on a monthly basis, the person who's making $1,500 on a monthly basis is just as broke as the person who's making $2,500 a month, who is just as broke as a person making $4,000 a month.
You can go higher.
Which is just as broke as a person who's making $6,000 a month.
Listen, I hate to say this, but I've seen it a little bit disguised, wrapped nicely, but there are people who are getting handsome salaries here on St.Maarten, and they are quicker to the bank to make sure that that money is there than you, who are making just barely $1,000 a month.
80% of people live paycheck to paycheck. And to describe what paycheck to paycheck is, where we at now? We are at the 24th of the month. So if you got paid the end of February, you're looking forward to this paycheck at the end of March, because you already ran out of money.
Yeah.
You're looking for that next paycheck. That's paycheck to paycheck. And why? Because the more you earn, the more you spend.
Yes.
You buy a nicer car. You come out of the apartment. Now
You
you want a
actually
home.
increase your
You
spending.
increase your spending. And this is the way people
Unaware
live.
too.
Some do it unaware, some do it deliberately, some thinking this money is going to keep on flowing.
Yes.
And then when it stops, you have the hiccup. Yeah. And most people, 80% of them don't have a 3 months of their monthly expenses.
So is there a solution to change that, or it's somewhat embedded in the habit of people to the point where, despite knowing, some of them may even go ahead and plan that next month they're going to do things a little different, only to continue doing the same until it's depleted?
Yeah, so it's habit forming, and these habits are formed again from children, right? Yeah. I had a friend, he had twins, and once we talked about giving them the cash so they can decide what to spend. And he said one sister actually would her funds will be gone like immediately. She'd go in the shop, she'll buy whatever, and she's broke. The other sister will end up loaning her sister money in exchange for her doing her chores.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I heard that somewhere before.
I think I told you that story. And he asked me, what should I do? I'm like, there is nothing you could do. At some point, she's supposed to either figure it out that she should change it, or she won't.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's you think that's a bad habit?
Yeah, it's habit forming. If you were to save 10% of your paycheck on a monthly basis, in a year and a half, you would have 90 days of your monthly expense. You'll have 3 months of your monthly expenses saved away.
Yeah, but
if you could save 15%, you'll do it in, I think, 13 months, 20%, 12 months, 25%, 10 months. But most people don't.
Yeah.
You know, I asked a question on TikTok the other day. If your husband paid all the bills, what would you do with your money? Oh man, you should hear the answers. And I even gave clues. I'm like, would you have it as a family emergency fund, or would you just do whatever you want with it? And it's just weird. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's my money. I do whatever I want with it. And yeah, I'll have it as a fund in case you leave me. And I mean, nobody says like, okay, he's paying all the bills. Maybe one day he gets sick. Maybe he's injured. I'm going to have to hold the family down. I'm going to do that. See, and I grew up seeing my stepfather basically come home. He took a couple $100 out of his envelope, back then they paid in cash, gave the rest to my mom. And they got paid every 2 weeks. And then the week after, he'll come back and say, let me hold on to something there, no? You know what I mean? And she already knew that was going to happen, so she had it prepared to give it, So these are all habit formings and system that we need to, be aware of and live by, and make sure we always have something just in case.
So life is basically business, you would say?
Yeah, business of life. Life and business is one and the same. You can't succeed in one without the other. People who succeed where life is concerned also succeed in business. And not that they own a business, but they have a good job, they're very responsible, they manage properly, and the people who are good with their job and their business, if their personal life is in shambles,
it's going to reflect in the business.
Exactly. Because it's one and the same. All the principles of life for you to success in life or increase your chances to succeed is the same principles that have for a business to succeed.
One of the things about business then, and if you're connecting that to our lifespan, business have an income, you're basically selling your product.
Right.
Or merchandise. Or you're actually working and the income. You're giving your time for
Which
the
is
income.
what a job is.
Yes.
You're giving your time in exchange for an agreed upon sum.
Salary, yeah. So when that come in, what you shouldn't spend dry. What you should do if your business is going to be successful, it means that you're making money.
Yes.
So if I'm trying to relate the concept of business to life.
So in business, the business is an entity. You're an entity. You need income. How do you get income? You have to sell a product or service.
Yes.
What you have in personal life, you're selling your service, which is your skill, or you're making your time available to that company who's paying you for your time.
Yes.
Right? In business, you think long term. Right? Most businesses, 80% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Okay.
Right? In personal, if you are not moving up every 5 years, you should move out. Right? And so if you're in a job for 5 years, you have more options to borrow. If your business exists for more than 5 years, you have amassed an excellent clientele, you have provided a good product, and it's being done on repeat customers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So every element that business has, life has, but we don't see it that way.
Yeah.
We think of the employer as someone we're working for. I think of it as someone I'm providing a service to. Right? So I am always
making your time available.
Exactly.
To
I
provide
am
the
always
service.
an entrepreneur.
You paid for it.
We have a contract.
Yes.
He's just paying me on a wage instead of he's paying me on a contract. So for the US, you're on a W-2 instead of a 1099. So, but we have a contract, and there's an expectation for me to fulfill that contract.
Yeah.
In business, you have a client.
Yeah.
The client expects you to provide the services that they're paying you for.
Yes, and you would increase your clientele. But in the case of life and working for someone, the only way that you can increase your salary is if you're going to get a raise, or you're going to, your productivity is going to suggest that you have to increase. Well, because you're putting in more.
Right. Increase productivity, increase skills.
Yes.
And increase value, because that's what people are paying for.
Yeah.
Right? They're paying for the value that you bring. Now, we all would like to get a raise whenever we wanted to, but what are you using to convince the person to give you that raise?
Yeah.
Are you improving your productivity? Did you improve your skills? Did you get a degree?
Yeah.
Do you know how to do everything in your department? Can you do your boss's job? Right? There is a saying that you have to train your replacement. So you should learn to do everything that you can do. So when you're going to ask for a raise or a promotion and they say, well, you're so good at what you do, who's going to replace you? You say, well, I already trained Jenny or I trained John. And now you have an argument, you move up, right? If you're an entrepreneur, maybe a barber or whatever, at some point you run out of time, right? There's only 24 hours in a day. You're going to work, 12 hours in a day. As you run out of time, you can increase your price because that's where your value come in. You have so many customers, you can't service them all. So you're going to have to start increasing your price to get the most out of your time.
Do you spend any time in learning the business of life on these principles, or you were more telling your story to teach the principle?
No, I discuss the principle because I have a post and let people discuss it, and I discuss it with them, showing them my angle. On TikTok, because it's the public square, you get that race element and all of that comes into play. And I'm like, no, these are just the building blocks of life. Every society has mechanisms and systems of how things work. We can't change them. What we can do is look at them and adapt whatever we can to our lives to increase our chances to succeed.
What can one do to increase productivity, even though they may be stagnant and at the same place for many, many years, working at the same location or for the same business, in order to increase the revenue? Because again, if let's look at the cost of living as an example, a prime example. As that goes up, you realize you have to make more money. One of the things that we are quick to do here is, I'm going to have to look for a second job, because you need to increase your income to be able to carry your financial burden.
Yep.
I'm asking, what can one do when they're in a place where they're stagnant, other than the suggestion of going to look for another job?
So if your household income is based on a 40-hour work week,
Yeah.
you're just broke. That's just it. If you're highly skilled and highly productive, you're going to be putting in more than 40 hours a week by default, even though you're just contracted, right? You're paid.
Or you can have a job that pays you more.
But if it pays you more, it means you're highly skilled or highly productive,
Yeah.
which there's a chance you're going to be putting in more than 40 hours a week, right? There's also multiple jobs where you can have one job that pays you basic, but it gives you your health care, it gives you, those options. And then you have your own, it's called a entrepreneur. You want to be an entrepreneur, but you're not there yet.
Yeah.
And then you have your hustle, because maybe you're a plumber.
Yeah.
Right, but because even though you can do plumbing, you're working at, I don't want to call any business name, for instance, but let's say you're working at a chicken place, right? And so when you stop working there, you go out and do your own thing, finding your own clients, making your own price. So that's an option. The other thing is partnership, where you're not living life alone.
Yeah.
You're living life with someone else. It could be your brother, your sister, your uncle, a roommate, or a
Child.
relationship partner. And so, like, you find so many, mostly females, will say, "I'm single, I'm independent," and da 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 da. But most single, independent women living by themselves are broke, because that's just how the numbers work.
Yeah.
And I say most, not all, so don't attack me when you see me on the road. But most of them literally live paycheck to paycheck, because you're paying for your life and all the expenses that come with life by yourself. If you bring a partner in, it comes with about a 25% more increased cost. However, there's another 70, 80, 100% more income, right? The other thing is, what some couples do is, the female stays home and take care of the family and support the husband and do everything that we grew up with, while he goes out and work 60, 80 hours a week. So he's doing both jobs, but the household income is now based on 80 hours a week work instead of 40. And there is time for the kids to help with homework, guidance, keep them out of trouble. So that family unit works better. Also, any job that you're in, every 5 years, this is the rule of thumb, general rule. You're either supposed to change department, even if you don't get a promotion. When you change department, you're learning more skills because you go in this new department. It's got different organization. It's have the different roles that they play, and you're learning more, right? And if you can't change department and you can't move up, it's time for you to leave. Otherwise, you're stuck in a place in an expert. You're an expert in something that you can no longer grow into. And that keeps you stuck.
But that is, I believe that is what I was speaking to when I mentioned some people find themselves at that place.
They are stuck, and for some people, they have reached their capacity. Then they don't see themselves learning more. They don't want to learn more. They're comfortable. Again, they were an expert at that, and they prefer to be an expert at that than to go out and learn more things to add to their expertise,
because the skill set remains the same too as well.
It remains the same, right? And it's like if you got stuck in 6th grade, you'll never go to high school, but you'll be the biggest, you'll be the smartest, person in primary school. And some people are literally stuck there, and they don't want to challenge themselves to go, because the moment you go to high school, you're the freshman, you don't know anything, and everybody who's already there is smarter than you. Right? And so that fear of failure or fear of having to start all over again keeps them stuck to where they are.
Gramey Browne, folks, he's my guest today. He has written a book called Learning the Business of Life. Well, not just one book, but many. If you haven't gotten a copy of that book just yet, I think it's inspiring. It helps you to manage both sides, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working your own home. It inspires you to manage your resource, your income resource, in a way that you can only but become successful or have some backup when it comes to it.
And
go ahead.
Okay, just like in business, if a company just takes all its income and just spend it without concern or long-term thinking,
there's no cash flow.
There's no cash flow. You go out of business, or you have to borrow to stay in business, and your life works the same way. People are taking loans to go on vacation or just to stay afloat, or they just do without because you don't have it.
Business is life, and life is business. Let's take a break quickly. This is Viewpoint with yours truly. Right after we come back from the break, we'll continue a conversation with Gramey Browne. He'll tell you how you can get that book, Learning the Business of Life. We'll be right back. I certainly hope that you are enjoying this conversation. I'm here with Gramey Browne. He's an author of several books. Let's see if I can look up on my wall and see them. Learning the Business of Life, Gabriel, Dating Advice to My Daughter, Ride-Share Driver, Tales of a Ride-Share Driver, The Catalyst Within. What else is up there? Mountain Trails. Okay, you have 2 mountain trails. Mountain Trails and Ocean Waves. But both Ocean Waves and Mountain Trails actually are children books.
Children book written based on St.Maarten. Mountain Trail is the hiking trail in Colby, across from the roundabout, Causeway roundabout, and Ocean Wave is done on Kimshaw Beach. So all the photos are live on St.Maarten. And
you are living in the States, but you are so very much at home, and I think you share your time equally as well with St. Eustatius.
So every time I come to St.Maarten, I go to St. Eustatius, see my mom, my sister, old friends. But I spend about 4 months a year still, within the islands. Because I grew up on Statia and St. Maarten. So
okay, the focus today is on learning the business of life, and I felt that it can relate a lot to our everyday lives, and often we take life completely out of business. And you make the case in the discussion that we've had since you're here today, that in fact, life itself is business.
It's business,
And if you treat it that way, you can give a learned habit or principle to your child that can encourage them to become entrepreneurs and to become successful business people. But often, you know, if you are not motivated to do this on your own, and sometimes you get the wrong information, which we dealt with earlier on as well. And you say, oh, you have to save, you have to do this, you have to do that. And you're saying, based on what you're taught at home, that should give you the guidance.
Because when people say to me, yeah, but you can't start a business because you don't have the money.
Yeah.
And if you can't get a loan, the banks don't get you a loan, you can't start a business. And I'm like, you use your job to fund your business.
All right, let me take a call for you, Gramey. I believe. Good afternoon, caller.
Books, man. Listen, where can I get a book to buy?
Okay, the books are available at Pineapple Pete in Colby, Van Dorp, both locations, Christian Bookstore and Canagita Street, Anya Bookstore, and Video Block in French Quarter.
So it's all over
What's the price of the book?
It's $20.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, my brother. Take care.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Yeah. If nothing else, people can, and I want people to realize, you can buy a book. You may not want to read it, but based on its content, after you are informed, you can give that to somebody and change their lives as a gift.
Yeah.
You don't always, when someone makes birthday, you don't necessarily have to always give a cake or something.
Yeah.
You can give a book too, or
You can add the book with the
add
cake.
the book with the cake. Yeah, either way.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask you though, how can government help to encourage more entrepreneurship and that kind of stuff? Because if no one else is encouraging it, a lot of times you're on your own, getting the bad information first is demotivating to begin with, because you're going to say, but I don't have the money to start. Not understanding that if you have the principle, you'll be able to start there.
Yeah.
And not every home spend time with that. Most of the homes today are different. But you think government can play a role here?
Oh, government can play a super role. If you look at the U.S., you will always hear that the backbone of the economy is the small business owners.
Yes.
Right? And if we translate that here, what the government can actually do, which is very easy. You see, like when a hotelier come and they're going to spend $10 million opening a hotel, the government will give them something like 10 years or more tax-free. You could do that with entrepreneurs the same way. When you open a business and you go forward, especially if you have the first 5 years, because this is the hardest time for most entrepreneurs, the first 5 years. 80% of them fail, right? What the government should do is, or can do, we just say can do, is whatever taxes needs to be paid to government for the first 5 years. Let's say you're going to give, 60 grand. You don't take 60 grand of cash and give it to the entrepreneur, but you let the entrepreneur over 5 years keep the money that they would spend on government, up to 60,000. You divide it into 5 years, you got 12,000 a year, that the taxes that they would pay to the government, they get to keep to improve and expand their business. So it doesn't cost government anything as an initial investment, but the entrepreneur gets to keep more of the money they would give to government and grow their business. And that's very easy to implement, because if that business is not generating no money, it doesn't get no money.
But it's quite the opposite though, because anybody who starts up a business, local people, they know that. They are behind you every step of the way.
Exactly.
As early as possible. Exactly. And that's the time you say they are not making any kind of money.
Struggling. The first 5 years are the hardest, because you have to, you're developing your product, you're developing a customer base.
Yes.
You're refining the product even, because as you sell it more, people will say, hey, this doesn't work that right. That doesn't, if you do this, if you do that, and you're constantly tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. And so if you could not have to worry about the tax and the finances, so you still file, you just don't pay.
Yeah.
Right? And the government could say, well, every year you get up to 12 grand. And if you go over, then you start to pay until the new year begins. And then you get that incentive again. And this is a very easy way to help small businesses build and grow.
Yeah, but that's something that we're going to have to put in place. And it takes a lot of gall to do that. But at the same time, you know what we notice?
If you don't start, you'll never get there.
Yeah, I know.
So everything begins with the first step, right?
Yeah.
Until you make the first step, you're standing still.
One of the things that I notice, we all notice it here in St.Maarten because it's pretty much known by everyone. When you get an investor, someone comes in and said they're going to build. Let's talk about a hotel.
But
big
yeah,
hotel.
that's a popular thing.
They're going to basically say, all right, we're going to give you a
10-year tax.
10-year tax free.
Yeah.
And you know what the game that these people play? At the end of the 10 years, not all, but some of them would actually revamp that first concept of business, give it another name, start all over fresh. And I don't know if that, I have no guarantee that that qualifies them to another 10 years of business, but there's a school of thought out there that happens. So they're taking advantage of a situation, and probably you can't blame them. They're using it to their advantage.
I mean, it's still something they have to request, and then that request is granted.
Yes, or not granted.
So are you blaming the person who's making the request, or are you blaming the person who's granting the request?
Yeah. Oh boy, you put that smartly, huh?
So the fact that we have that system already in place for big investors, we just duplicate it, lower the numbers, and make it for our entrepreneurs. So it's like I said, if
and don't grant any further requests for another extension.
I would say no, because the business is already built,
established.
Right. It's always good. It's kind of like you have a requirement to enter school. And once you enter school, well, you have to do all the courses and graduate.
Yes.
You don't get to come back and have to requalify. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think in 90% of the cases, it should not be renewed.
Okay.
90 or maybe even 99.
Something about business as far as our reality here on St.Maarten is concerned too as well. The truth is, there was a time when most businesses on St.Maarten were really making a killing, if I may use that terminology. Nowadays, it's very different.
Yeah.
The competition for the goods and merchandise that are being sold, or even services, is a lot more. Some of it is available online, which provides some challenge for people who are established here. But they're not making that kind of killing anymore.
So we're now in a global market when it comes to merchandising. If you're selling an actual thing, you're in a global market. If the product you have is exceptional and can only be available within your market to you, you have an edge. If you're providing services, provide the best service that you can for the fairest price to increase your chances. Because the more margin there is between the product and or the service that you sell, is the more room you have for competition. What I've always done is try to sell it at a price so cheap that no one else is interested in competing with me. So most of my businesses, I really didn't have a lot of competition because I convinced my potential competitors there's no real opportunity here. And so that left me to service the entire market. Because more, 10 times 100 is less than 1,000 times 10. And so you can choose to go for the big margin and sell a lot less, or go for small margin and sell a whole lot more. So when I introduced prepaid was a concept that instead of waiting until the end of the month and pay a bill for $200, $300, I give you the opportunity to prepay your bill $10 at a time. So prepaid was not actually cheaper, but it was more affordable. And so you have to find your niche.
And you can manage that.
You manage it yourself, right? So you got to find your niche in whatever services. If I've spoken to guys who cut hair, they are barbers, and I said the first phase is you're getting walk-in clients. Well, you get those walk-in, you want to build to where you have a business card. You got to have a business card to where you can get to appointment clients. And once you get to appointment clients, now you get to set your appointment. You get to set how much cuts you're going to do a day. You manage your time because you only have to come to the shop when you're going to cut a hair. And the next phase is to where you can go to your clients.
Yeah.
And in each phase, the price goes up because the value go up, the
Yes.
service go up.
Yeah.
You know, and you get to the point that maybe you could just cut one hair here a day. But that person is a premium service customer.
Yeah.
And now, you know, you go out and they give you $100 for a haircut.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to leave the comfort of their
home.
Their home. You know, you come to their house and you cut their hair and you have your wet cloth and your warm cloth, especially if you get a bald head like me. I get that finger massage on my head. I get my beard shave. And it's just until you reach to the celebrities where you're cutting one hair a week. Because they're paying you $1,500 just to come and cut their hair. You know, so there is different scales in whatever industry of work you're doing. You have to find your niche, you have to provide the service, and then you scale.
Wow. Ah, okay. Well, thanks a lot for those encouraging words. And hopefully we can apply that to our lives and our homes and our families. More so, I would like for a takeaway from today's discussion that people understand that if you're making X amount of money for the month, don't get in the habit of spending all of it. At this present moment, though, those who are seasoned in that habit and maybe can't make any additional change, what kind of recommendation that you can give?
There are always changes to be made, right? It's either you change.
No, but you already have rent, you have utilities, you have your car loan, you have, and that's something else too. A lot of people think that in order to be able to keep up with the Joneses, they have to have a car loan.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. There's always things. There's always things. So you need rent, you have utilities, you have food. Then you have personal care, right? What else do you need? Everything else you want. You want a car. You don't need a car. You catch the bus. But most people don't want to catch the bus because having a car is more convenient.
Are you making a distinction between a need and a want?
Exactly. Because when you have no money at all, do you go get the stuff you want? Or do you just get the stuff you need? Exactly.
Unless you're going to hustle.
Yeah. So it is habit forming. And if you could make certain, I consulted a client the other day. She has great income, but she also has great expenses.
Yes.
Right? And I said, you're actually broke. And she had some debt. And I was like, oh no, you're in debt. You know, that's even worse than being broke. Because you owe people, you know? And she realized, okay, in 3 months, I can actually get out of debt. And if you get out of debt, you're no longer broke. And if you're no longer broke, it's 1 month more, and you're out from paycheck to paycheck.
And what about the savings? The savings is possible as well, too?
Of course, because you're spending so much more than you need to. You're doing it because you want to. And if you stop and go for your needs, you realize all that want is a savings. You have to now want that savings, right? And put that there.
I'm going to need you to come back in and talk to me some more. Learning the Business of Life is the name of the book. It is being sold in all the bookstores on the island. $20. Just make sure you get a copy. Very inspiring.
And you can get free delivery if you call 553-0071.
Okay. You can sell it direct.
Yeah. Okay. And he will come and deliver the book to you, and you pay him. That's Brian from French Quarter. In Pineapple Pete, they have the autograph copies.
Okay.
So you get that. That's exclusive. That's a special deal that I made with him.
Okay.
That's my friend Pierre, Pineapple Pete. And Van Dorp, both locations. Anya Bookstore in Cul-de-Sac. Christian Bookstore. They
right
have
here.
books as well.
Right
and I forgot. Richardson, Adolphus Richardson on the Pond Phil.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a bookstore.
Yeah,
the books are there.
All right, folks, we got to leave that for today. I certainly hope that you enjoyed this discussion. Gramey is going to be back with me, and hopefully we can encourage you. And listen, folks, make reading a part of your everyday life. It is certainly helpful. That's it.
We read in school, we read the newspaper, we read so many things.
Yeah.
Read the things that feeds our brain as well. And so, you know.
It's fundamental. Reading is fundamental.
Reading is fundamental to learning.
All right. That's it for today, folks. Thank you so very much for joining me on Viewpoint for today, Tuesday. We'll be back again tomorrow, God's willing. An invitation for you to join us then. In the meantime, you take care. Over to the newsroom we go. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me.